Hello, my name's Elijah Finmore and welcome to Silver City Folk Music. I'm going to give you a brief introduction into playing Scottish folk music on the guitar with the DADGAD tuning and an introduction to some of the basic chords in that tuning. So when you start, from the standard position, first of all the tuning, as you should know, the strings are in standard tuning E, A, D, G, B and E. The way to tune into DADGAD is quite simple. We're taking the first E down 2 frets to D. And you can hear that's the same note as the D on the other string, just an octave lower. We're taking the B down 2 frets to A. You can hear that's the same as the A on that string. And we're taking the higher E 2 frets down to D. So as you can hear, we've got 3 Ds at the lowest and the highest points of the guitar, which gives our basic chord of D major a very nice open sounding chord by just putting the first finger on the 2nd fret on the G string, so the 3rd string from the top. That gives us our nice open full D chord sound. The reason I like using DADGAD for folk music is that you can play pretty much every chord using all 6 strings of the guitar, or at least 5 of them, which gives a nice sort of warm, open sound, a bit more open and filling than the somewhat more restricted sounds of the chords in standard tuning, especially bar chords. So your basic D chord is that. Now if you add your pinky to the 5th fret on the A string, right there, 2nd string from the bottom on the 5th fret, you round out, you're adding another D note to the chord, so you're rounding out the sound of the chord a bit more, giving it a bit more of a kind of directed sound. And to add another fun note to that, if you take your 3rd finger and you put it on the 4th fret on the 3rd string from the bottom on the D string, right, that note right there. So you've got your pinky on the 5th, your ring finger on the 4th, and your index finger on the 2nd. And that forms your basic D major chord, which is your basic staple for most of folk music in DADGAD. Obviously, some songs will be in different keys. That's why it's very highly recommended to have a capo on hand to change the key setting. But if you've got your basic D chord down, your basic D major chord I should say, it's quite easy to then move into the 2 other chords for the basic 1-4-5 chord structure, which would be G and A. So you've got your D, you've got your G, and you've got your A, and then back to your D. And that's a very basic chord structure you'll hear in a lot of folk music, something like this. So the G chord, there's 2 ways to play it in DADGAD. One is a lot more open and sort of resonating and rings out a lot more, which I tend to use for slower songs like ballads. But for now, the basic one we're going to look at is the one that I use most of the time, and which you'd probably end up using for most of the faster songs and jigs and reels and playing any kind of accompaniment if you were. So you take, it's the 5th fret on the bottom string on the D string, which is your G note, the 5th fret on the A string, and then you leave one string open, and and then it's the 4th fret on the G string. So I use my 3rd finger and my pinky on the bottom 2, and I use my middle finger on the 3rd fret for the G. And you can play all 6 strings and let it ring out, and you get that nice, good, sort of wide sound, but you also have a very directed, almost like a power chord at the bottom, so you can give a good level of rhythm and give a good sense of direction with your chord. Right there, right? The A chord is the exact same position, just move 2 frets up. This being your A, your root note, and the rest of it in the same position as the G, as far as your fingering is concerned. So that's your the basic 3 chords that you'll find in a lot of folk songs in the major key.